Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, this is going to be a reading on Donald Trump, Ukraine, and Russia. In case you missed it, Donald Trump is under the misapprehension that Ukraine started the war with Russia. Now, he doesn't explain why he thinks Ukraine started the war with Russia, but when he was trading barbs with President Zelenskyy, he implied that Kiev should have negotiated with Russia, and this war never would have happened. Negotiated what? Russia invaded Ukrainian territory in 2014, and then started another offensive in 2020. Actually, 2022. Biden even warned Russia to stay out, not to do this. Pleaded with him. But Putin did it anyways. And, well, we have ourselves a 3+ year battle of attrition going on in Ukraine. That one cannot say that Russia is winning. Russia's lost this war. This is a war that they thought they would be over in a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, not 3 years. In some areas, they're pushing the Ukrainians back, basically through force of numbers. Other areas, Ukraine has made some small gains. Trump seems to feel that Zelenskyy played Biden like a fiddle, that he's a terrible leader, he's got no support, and calls Zelenskyy a dictator because Ukraine instituted martial law during wartime, as is guided by their constitution, and they haven't had presidential elections. England was quick to support Ukraine, saying, guess what? England didn't have elections during World War II either. So we're okay with this. Trump will say, well, the United States did. Well, that's fantastic. That's great. The United States did. But that doesn't mean every country has to. And it doesn't mean that if you don't, that you're a dictator. Unusual circumstances. So, but the wild part in all of it, and basically Zelenskyy is saying that Trump is living in Russian misinformation space. Russian media is happy because Trump is supporting Russia on this. Trump is trying to meet with Putin and exclude Zelenskyy on peace talks, which is, I believe, reminiscent of, was it Yalta in World War I, where the barons were carving up the world, or something like that. I'd have to look that up. Sorry, my history's not that great. Let me see. Through the power of Google, it's actually World War II. Yalta Conference in 1945, the leaders of the U.S., Great Britain, and Soviet Union agreed to divide Germany and Eastern Europe into zones of influence. Shape the world after World War II. That's what it looks like Trump is trying to do now. Meanwhile, I think the EU is doing more and more to back Ukraine and Zelenskyy to fill the gap that Trump, I doubt, is going to provide any more resources for Ukraine beyond what Biden got approved in Congress. So I want to look at the energy around Trump and Zelenskyy in this Ukraine war with just a dash of Putin. Basically, I want to find out, why is Trump saying that Ukraine started the war? Is he just lying to people? Is he, all this? I think all this is just a giant effing temper tantrum because they wanted unfettered access to Ukraine's rare earth metals, and Ukraine just didn't roll over and give it to him. Apparently, he was on a phone call with the leader of Denmark to get Greenland, and it was a shouting match, and Trump was just basically acting like a 3-year-old not getting his way. And I don't think he understands that because, he's the president. He's the leader of the most powerful country in the world. You're just supposed to do what he says. Entertainment purposes only. Let's see what's going on with Trump, Ukraine, Putin stuff. All right, foundation of the reading is the Lover's card. Well, I guess we know whose side he's on by the propaganda that he is repeating. To say that Ukraine started the war, that Kiev started this, is just ridiculous. It just shows you who he's in bed with. He's made his choice. Crossed with the High Priestess, crossed with everything everybody knows because of contemporaneous reporting when the war started. You know, you can easily get information off the internet as to what's going on here. There's also secrets. This could be, you know, Putin holding secrets over Trump. Remember, Russia did say that Trump got help getting elected, and they expected Trump to honor his commitments and pay back the things that helped him get elected. This could very well be one of them. Underneath it all is the Fool card, the new beginning. So it's almost like the rebirth of the relationship of Putin and Trump, and the secret agreements that they've got going on in the background. Maybe Putin's finally going to let Trump build that Trump hotel in Moscow. In the past, you got the Knight of Cups. This is that loyalty between... This might be Putin actually reaching out to Trump, trying to rekindle the romance between these two. Current situation is the Ace of Cups. Trump is... this is all passion and emotion. There's no strategy with this. This is all feelings. Remember what I was saying that Trump wanted all the rare earth minerals from Ukraine, and he didn't get it, and he wanted to buy Greenland, and Denmark won't sell it, so he's all up in his feelings because nobody's doing what he wants. He's basically having a tantrum. Overarching, so he's going to make things difficult. His relationship with Putin's going to make things difficult here, and it's an absolute betrayal. Lesson to be learned is the Three of Swords. This is a betrayal to the U.S., its allies, and NATO. This underneath this Lover's card could actually just be NATO and the secrets that are on there. But yeah, he's betraying NATO in this process. The outcome is Three of Wands. Yeah, Trump's just getting his orders from overseas. Putin is your overseas order taker. And I think there's going to be, with that Three of Wands, there's probably going to be more to come. Interesting, we get the Three of Swords and the Three of Wands. I think that's why you could sort of assume that Trump is getting his orders overseas from Putin, because he's not upholding the Constitution. He's not fighting for America's best interests. He's fighting for his best interests, and siding up with Putin in this case. I was doing videos with my brother last night. It's just like, it's hard to believe that the United States are going to be the quote-unquote the bad guys in this. Now, if you want to look for silver linings, I have multiple friends in Canada telling me that Trump, Musk, and the U.S. have done more to unite Canadians, almost to like a wartime level of unity. Their anger and hatred might be too strong a word, but their anger and their frustration with Trump and obnoxious Americans and the Conservative Party and such is leading to all sorts of boycotts and, in some ways, nationalistic feelings supporting Canada and against the United States. It's sad to see, because there's been some of our best neighbors and allies, but at the same time, who could blame them? Who could blame them? If anything, I support them for this. If American businesses suffer enough and the economy crashes and American oligarchs decide that they don't want Trump and the Republicans in charge anymore, they could easily fix this whole thing, because they have the wealth, the power, the influence, and have purchased several members of Congress and potentially the Supreme Court for entertainment purposes only. Money talks. Okay. Trump and Putin. Why is Trump bending over backwards for Putin in this? What's going on with Trump and Putin? That Trump is just bending over backwards to support Vladimir Putin. Justice card. I think it's, to me, I think we're going back to blackmail here. Obviously, this is not going to be a court case or anything along those lines. But it's kind of the, the threat of being brought to justice. Or it's the injustice of it all. Let's see what the cross is. The conspiracy, the backroom deals, and creating stuff. Yeah, I just think there's blackmail going on here. And this is just one of those things where, Putin could be your best friend or your worst enemy. However you want this to play, Donald. And, Putin's also good at carrots and sticks. Russia's not all sticks. They're carrots, too. And that analogy I've also used is goes back to when the RNC and the DNC servers got hacked in 2016. The DNC server information got released. Punished the head of the DNC resigned, and there was all sorts of fallout for that. The Republican server was never released, the information from that. And I believe it was traced back to Russian hackers. Okay? So you have to assume that the Russian government had compromise on the RNC. But they never released it. So there's your stick. Do what we tell you, or else we're going to release this information. But Russia also knows it's also helpful if you grease the wheels. Because beyond the embarrassment, there's also greed. And they were funneling a bunch of money through the NRA, which predominantly supported Republican candidates. So if you play ball, we will put money through the NRA that they will give to you to support your campaign. If you don't play ball, not only will you not get that money, but then we're going to release embarrassing information on you. That's how Putin rolls. Carrots and sticks. And Putin's okay with carrots and sticks. The stick for Donald Trump is, there's election fraud, and we know it. We helped you with it, and we'll release it if you don't work with us. But if you do work with us, maybe you'll get that Trump hotel in Moscow you've always wanted. In the past, you got the Eight of Swords. Putin's had compromise on Trump. He's basically holding Trump hostage. Current situation is the Three of Cups, with Trump being reelected again. And the posturing, there's a lot of posturing that was happening in November, and I think that November and December, and I think that was Russia warning Trump that they still had Trump by the short curlies, and that Trump needed to play ball. But I think they also sweetened the pot with him too. Overarching energy is the Tower, but there's a threat that this alliance with Russia could come crashing down. It's tenuous. It could come crashing down any moment. We've got the Tower card overarching this. Now, mind you, it's also lightning quick how Trump went from supporting Ukraine when he first, in the fall, early winter, to all of a sudden, changing how the war went, that it was Ukraine that did it. Trump's already on board with rewriting the history books. But I do think, though, that the relationship between Trump and Putin is tenuous. It's very tenuous. Lesson to be learned is the Star card. I think it's Trump's daddy issues. This is not the best of America. This is kind of the worst of America. This is the storm. This is the calm after the storm. These cards follow each other. If Putin goes, Trump's going too. How come it's the Page of Swords? What's going on with these guys? I just think there's threats. Trump won. There's threats that his thing will be taken down. And then they're going to just basically do the mutually beneficial things for the two of them. But here's the thing. With that Page of Swords here, makes Trump a clear and present danger and a spy for Russia in the White House again. But there's like a little bit of there's rookiness here. That although this idea, this partnership has worked in the past, it may not be as effective this time. So don't lose all hope on this one. There might be stuff coming that's going to undo Trump and Putin's alliance. Just a little four-carder. What would be the most likely thing to undo Trump and Putin's alliance with regards to Ukraine? And that could be anything from one or both men dying to some bombshell news about Trump comes out. Not that anybody would seem to care in Congress. Europe stepping up for Ukraine. A huge military victory that sends Russia or even a revolution in Russia. There could be all sorts of stuff that undoes this. Let's see what a little four-carder would give to us. Oligarchs. It's the oligarch money. Putin promised them that this would be over so quickly, and they believed him. And it's cost them a lot of money. And their money's been frozen, and they've not been able to get their money back. Yeah, and underneath it all is the wisdom and secrets. The oligarchs know what's going on. I wonder if U.S. intelligence is working on the oligarchs to foster an insurrection with them. Oligarchs are probably secretly meeting, discussing the path forward, because the economy is crashing over in Russia, and the oligarchs, I think after 3 years, they're tired of this. This is kind of Putin and Trump's last hurrah, as it were. This is kind of Putin's best exit, his best off-ramp. But here's the thing. Putin really looks like he wants to overplay his hand. In other words, Putin wants the sun, the moon, and the stars. There's your star card. But he doesn't have a strong enough position to get the sun and the moon. Maybe the stars, but not the sun and the moon. But if he holds out on that, then Ukraine could just decide to say, too bad. We're continuing fighting anyways, regardless of what the U.S. threatens them with. And then they'd be supported by European Union nations. And that might be enough to keep the war going long enough for Russia's economy to fully collapse and for the oligarchs to move against Putin. It would be something like that. Okay? Knock on wood. We'll see what happens. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.